Hello, Way Home family on YouTube. It is I, Steffi Starr. I am here today with one of our members who has been through the Biodynamic Autonomic Restoration sessions. We call them BAR sessions for short, BAR. And I'm going to introduce her to you in just a moment. I do want to tell you what BAR is. We use it here at the Way Home. It is an energetic healing modality. And after 30 years in Western medicine and over 10 years in holistic health and wellness, I am 100% convinced that we are the medicine, that there are all manner of tools out there, both from nature, both in Western medicine, as we call it, modern day technologically advanced medicine, medications, procedures, surgeries. But at the end of the day, they are all tools. We are the medicine. Everything we need to be happy, healthy, and whole is inside. So BAR is a combination of breath work, Reiki energy healing, and some of the philosophy from craniosacral therapy. All three of those things are combined to induce a meditative state where I facilitate an introduction for participants to what craniosacral therapy calls the inner healer. And I am a firm believer that every single one of us has an inner healer, and generally BAR sessions that are guided by me are not necessary for any length of time. This is ultimately to encourage people to find the healer within, to pull out their medicine from within on their own. So without further ado, I am going to ask our Way Home member today to introduce herself. Give us your name, how old you are, and where you are on the planet right now, sister.
You got it. Hi, everybody. I am Amber Powers. I am 47 years old, I think. I always lose track. And I live on the Treasure Coast in Florida. So that's a little bit about me. And I was first introduced to Steffi, like 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
2020. So 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and we've done work together, and I'm so grateful for Amber in our fold, in my circle of friends. So tell us what brought you to BAR, what encouraged you to say yes to something like this. What was kind of your initial initiation to BAR sessions?
So it's so funny because Steffi, you came up in my emails in a regular newsletter, and I always read. I'm just like hungry to hear what you have to say. And so I was like scanning through, and I saw that you offered slow down Sundays. And the first month I knew I couldn't attend, but I was like, I'm going to put this like in the back of my mind. I want to go in July. And so almost a month in advance, like as soon as it came out, I was like, yes,
Right.
I'm gonna, yes. I don't know what this is, but I'm supposed to go. And so I did. And about a week before I went, I got the news from my doctor that I had to go get a thyroid biopsy. Now, this is not new on me. This is my second biopsy. But for anybody who has gone through any sort of a cancer scare, right? It's a little bit unnerving.
Sure.
No matter how connected and in alignment we are, it can throw us, right? And it did. And so when I came to Slow Down Sunday, it just was such a peace that kind of came over me. And I got to share my experience at Slow Down Sunday and shared a little bit about what I was going through medically. And Steffi and I were just like, zing, synchronicity, we're supposed to do this thing together. And she started to tell me a little bit about what had been given to her, I believe very divinely. And it was an automatic yes, because I trust Steffi with my whole being, like I just do. And so it was an automatic yes, let's do this. Because I know, just a very quick background on me, excuse me, having grown up in a cult, I find it very easy to try to lean on other people for guidance, for healing, for a lot of things, right? And I know that I need to rely on myself more.
Right.
And so this was a really, sorry for being so long-winded.
No, please. I love that you're getting into it.
Yeah, this was such a healing process on so many different levels for me personally. psychologically, I think, mentally, emotionally, and physically. From the prep work that you have us do in the mirror work that we do as we lead up to the first session. And like you said, it's not something that we have to physically be in presence with you every
Right.
time. It is something that once you do it enough times, 2 or 3 times, it starts to come very naturally. You become familiar with that inner healer that you were talking about. You develop a relationship with her or him, and it's just astounding.
Wow, that's awesome. That's beautiful. I appreciate all the kind words for sure. One thing I do want to say, I'm extraordinarily cognitive, conscious, aware of our propensity as humans. Just it's part of our species. We have a propensity to worship. We have a propensity to go outside of ourselves. And if you know anything about the way home, if you've ever been here, there's very little, there's nothing that I ever personally take credit for. And ultimately, people who avail themselves of the goods and services here at the way home, they're always being directed back to themselves. Because first of all, I don't give away my power. I don't want you to give away your power. I don't ever want to be perceived as the thing that made X, Y, and Z happen. No, I don't make anything happen. I'm over here being a human being like everybody else, living my own life with my own, challenges and struggles. And I certainly cannot take on all of that for other folks. But because I know I am the medicine, I'm more than willing to show everybody else that they're the medicine. So everything here is always directed back out. There's very few things that are like, you kind of got to be here, you kind of got to be with me, until the day comes where maybe you don't need that anymore either. So I appreciate you getting into that. Very sensitive to people understanding that you are the medicine, you are the healer, you have it within you. Everything you need is already inside. So thank you for bringing all that up. Thank you for sharing so authentically and vulnerably your journey up to this point. Yeah. So how many sessions have you done with me? And by the way, they were done on Zoom. This is energetic healing work. This is not done necessarily to the body, although it's done in the body. So we do this on Zoom. People from all over the world, from anywhere with an internet connection, can do these sessions. But how many sessions have you and I done, Amber?
Yeah. So you and I have worked together twice. The first session, I actually asked you to record it because I cognitively need the repetition to fully let it sink in. And then once it sinks in, then it becomes my own and I can kind of adapt it to be my own. And so just the two of both of us present.
And if you are using it in a self-directed manner, have you used it self-directed, and approximately how many times have you used it in a self-directed manner?
So at least 10 times self-directed.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm taking this so incredibly seriously, and I'm seeing, I'll get to that later. I want to verbally vomit all over it.
Yeah, I'm going to get to a question about what the outcome is. And actually, Amber has an amazing story for the end. So when you think the interview's over, it's not. Stick around. There is pure magic at the end. So what has been your experience with the session itself? And it doesn't even need to be one with me per se, but in your experience with me and in a self-directed way, what do you feel like the experience itself provides you in the moment, in the 20, 30 minutes that you're in a session?
So I would say the biggest kind of experiential thing that I had during a session is I, for the first time ever, astrally projected. And there was no fear in being there. There was only peace. There was only stillness. There was only love. I was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And it was truly magical. Doesn't quite seem like enough, but I guess that's the only word I can find to kind of summarize it.
Okay. That's amazing. We have not talked about this thus far. So that's news to me right now. It's beautiful, sister.
Yeah. And it became easier for me to do that in the self-directed sessions as well. As far as like body sensation, I would say probably like just a keen understanding. And now that I'm saying this, it makes all the sense in the world, because part of the bar sessions is in talking about like the fluidity of the body, the fluidity and following the motion of that fluid. And so kind of the pulsating, I guess. There's sort of a pulsating that happens as you're, at least for me, that happens during the session. And it was a lulling, more comfortable.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay. And what, if anything, would you say has shifted or improved over the course of many sessions? If anything.
And understand, like, it's so significant, the change that happens when you understand the power that you harness within yourself. It's so significant, because I literally didn't share this with anyone except for my good friend who came with me to Slow Down Sundays, the people that were there, and my husband. That was it. I didn't share it with my dad. I didn't share it with my brother. I didn't share it with anyone, because I didn't want any negativity being sent my way through worry or whatever.
Okay.
And so this was me taking control of my health, my wellness, my being. While I'm here physically, this is my responsibility, no one else's.
See.
Right.
Beautiful.
And so that alone, like that understanding that everything is within me to control, not that I have to have control, but it's within my power.
Yeah.
Right. To harness my healing and to move that forward.
Yeah.
And the worry is what I'm trying to say, no longer had a place. I had a knowing that was replaced, or the worry was replaced with knowing that everything was going to be fine. Everything is fine.
My whole body just lit up with chills when you said that. Yeah, because this is what people don't know. After 30 years in Western medicine, what I learned is, yes, drinking is bad for us. Smoking is bad for us. A poor diet is bad for us. But the number one health risk to the human body, the number one risk factor for stroke, cardiac disease, hypertension is stress, worry. These things that we do to ourselves with our mind that really have no place, because when has worrying ever resolved anything? We can worry about it all day long. Things are going to be what they are. But to be able to replace worry, especially you having a very specific day, date, and time for a thyroid biopsy looming in your, not too distant future, the worry around that, being able to replace that worry with a knowing and a peace and a comfort that I'm taking it upon myself to be responsible for my health, my wellness, my being, literally, to quote you verbatim, is such a beautiful statement. Because yeah, does the bar session work? I'll be honest, I don't know. Does not worrying do the trick? I don't know. But what I know that I know is they certainly aren't hurting anything. And if they do work, we'll never know what the outcome would have been if you hadn't done it. We won't have the outcome of, well, I didn't do it and this is what happened. And then, but because I did it, I'm never going to be able to say definitively this works. But what I know that I know is, when you can replace worry with a knowing that all is well, and that you have done everything you can do, I understand the health benefit of that. I'll never be able to prove it on paper, but I love that you brought that up, because to march your way down the road towards this day, date, and time, this procedure without worry is a gift in and of itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to skip the next question. Do you have anything negative to report about the experience? Was there anything that you think, you might do differently? You wish was not part of the process?
Yeah, it's not negative. It's just, I think every person is unique. So for me, the last time that I did the session was actually the morning before the biopsy. And I got so frustrated because I am autistic, and so there are certain things that just when I try to meditate or get into a meditative state, cold feet, forget about it. I am never going to go into a meditative state with cold feet. Shirts that are itchy, or if I'm cold, never. So like, just understand, like, get yourself into a place where you are comfortable, which looks so different for everyone.
Yeah.
But I literally threw a tantrum right before I went into my last meditative state. Like,
okay. Well,
yes.
we do spend the first few minutes of every bar session with just some normal, but, slow down, relaxed, comfortable breathing, because I literally want people to have every muscle and every joint in a completely comforting state, because we can't do the work energetically when, my head's tilted at an odd angle and my toe is sticking out from the blanket, so one foot's cold and one foot's comfortable. Like, we spend the first few minutes getting everybody super comfortable. So I do know the story that Amber is about to share, because she shared it with me the day of the procedure, or the very next day. So I know this. So I'm going to ask a question, because there are people who don't know. Did anything unique or interesting happen to you during the biopsy?
So I should just start with number one. The day before, I ended up also having to schedule a follow-up breast ultrasound because there were some suspicious spots in a mammogram that came back.
Okay.
That came back completely clear. No abnormalities, right? So that's fantastic. I also worked knowing that was probably going to happen during the bar sessions that I did privately, just me, myself, and I.
Okay.
But at the thyroid biopsy, it took forever for the doctor to get in. Finally, he gets in. They do all the prep, and I have an immense fear of needles. So I'm just focusing on this one joint in the ceiling tile above me, and I take myself into a meditative state, and he's talking, and I'm just ignoring him because I'm just breathing, and once I see the needle start to go in for the lidocaine shot, I'm like, all right, girl, it's go time. And I activate that inner healer. And I literally, the entire time they were doing the biopsy, which feels like forever, but it's probably 5 minutes if that. The entire time I was focused on the slow breath in, the holding in the spot, and the releasing. And towards the very end, right before he took the needle out, the doctor is standing right over me, and he said, "Are you okay?" He said, the amount of heat you are exuding is making me sweat.
I love that.
And the nurse on my right said, "I know, I can feel it coming off of her arm too." And the nurse on the left said, "Me too." And he said, "Where is the AC vent in this place?" And they point, and it's literally right above us.
That's insane.
Yeah. And Steffi, in our sessions one-on-one, you said the amount of energy you experienced in those sessions was just like,
yep.
Right. And so that made all the sense in the world to me. And she and I had an inner giggle. And we went on about our day.
I love it. Good for her. Did you give your inner healer a name by any chance?
I didn't. I just recognized her by sight.
Okay, beautiful. And different things work for different people. But for those who might be watching this, who practice the energetic healing arts, specifically for Reiki practitioners, I can tell you, as a Reiki practitioner, as somebody who works in the energetic healing arts, heat is one of the primary ways in which you have activated the healing energy. It's one of the ways that the body is responding to what the inner healer is accomplishing. Like, heat is a big darn deal when it comes to energy work, and anybody who does energy work can attest to that. So I am so grateful for your willingness to not only undergo, but then to share your experience with our human family. Thank you, Amber. It's such an honor, and I love our friendship, and I just love what we get to do together. I love what you do out in the world on your own, and thank you, sister.
Thank you. It has been my joy and my honor, and I'm so grateful for you sharing this with me.
Beautiful. All right. Well, you two, Way Home family, Amber and I are going to say goodbye.